Alright guys, I'm going to go over a couple of the problems in each section to help you prepare for your tests on Thursday and help you complete your review. Now, for this first section here, you need to know all these different, all the different types, it's not showing, of lines here. So you need to know what parallel lines are, parallel planes, perpendicular, and skew. Parallel, most of y'all are familiar with that. They never intersect, they never cross. Same thing with planes. Perpendicular, they have to intersect at exactly 90 degrees. And skew means three things. They are not, they are not parallel. They do not intersect. And not on the same plane. So for this explanation, I'm pretty much going to stick to the odds to help you kind of navigate and understand what to do on the review and the different types of problems. So here you have to use the diagram to answer the question. So number one is referring to line DE, which is this horizontal line here, compared to line BE, which is here. And if you see right here, there is a box. So that means that these lines are perpendicular. They intersect at 90 degrees. So this is a symbol for perpendicular, okay, instead of writing out the word. Now on 3, we're referring to or focusing on AB, which is this horizontal line here. And actually, I'm going to take off the other one so I don't confuse anybody. So I don't need that one or that one. So AB, and EF, okay? AB is on the top plane here, and EF is here on the bottom. And hopefully you see that these are not parallel, they do not intersect, and they're not on the same plane. One's on top or on the front face, or top face, and one's on the bottom. So this would be skew. Okay. So you are going to have some questions on your test where you're just reading straight off of a diagram and filling it based on the type of lines you see. Now, this section, we need to know parallel lines cut by transversal, and you need to know all the different types of angles formed. So you need to know what makes up alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, same side interior. This is the same thing as consecutive interior. You want to think of it that way. And then same side exterior, that's consecutive exterior. You still need to know vertical, and you still need to know linear pair. So what they want you to recognize off of here is take the given information. So they're referring on number 5, angle 2 and angle 8. What I always tend to do is first find the transversal between the angles to see if they do have a transversal, and that is the shared line, which would be line H here, and then compare where they are. Are they on the same side or are they opposite sides? Now this first one, they just want to know the line that's the transversal. That is the shared line. So here we just put in H. If you want to put it here or here, it doesn't matter. But now on number 7, since they want us to focus on angle 1, and they want them to be alternate exterior, well, let me just take this off here. Angle 1 here is using that same transversal H. So for it to be alternate exterior, I have to be on opposite sides outside the other two lines. The other two lines would be P and K. So the answer here is that you could have an alternate exterior with H is a transversal with line, with angle 7. So one of them would be 7. Now H could have also a transversal, angle 1, sorry. Could also have a transversal. I could always use P also as a transversal. So if P is a transversal, now I can do an alternate exterior, so opposite sides of this transversal and outside the other two lines, which is H and M. and I could do that with 15. So you are going to have to be able to read lines intersecting, and then which angles would make the special types of pairs. Now for 9, it says if P is a transversal, so that means we're going to focus on just line P here. P is our transversal, and we're looking at angle 3. Here's angle 3. 3, and what other angle will be alternate interior angles? So it means it has to be in between the lines to be interior. So that would have to be 3 and 13. Alternating means they have to be on opposite sides of the transversal. So that's always a clue to help you see it. Now, the last one here, they want you to let H be the transversal. So I'm just kind of highlighting H as a transversal. And we're looking at angle 7. Angle 7, and we'll just do a double arc here. Angle 7, and what other angle is corresponding? So to be corresponding, you have to be in the same location. Okay, on the same side of the transversal, so this means below H here. I have to be below H here. Why is it doing that? Sorry. It's still doing it. Below H. Here we go. And on the same side. So this was to the right of the line. 3 is the corresponding to 7. So this last one right here should have been 3. Okay. Alright, so from there, we're now going to ask you to look at special properties with parallel lines. You can have transversals without the lines being parallel, because a transversal just intersects at two points, 2 different points. For the parallel lines, maybe to help you remember the relationship when we're talking about properties of parallel lines, is that you can color code them. Okay, so L and M are the parallel lines, and then I can color code, and the pattern that I have here up top should repeat at the bottom with the lines that are parallel. Anything that's the same color is going to be congruent. Anything different colors is going to be supplementary or equal to 180. So if I tell you L and T are perpendicular, T was up here. I don't know if y'all saw that. That was the transversal. If it's perpendicular, that means it equals 90. So I know it's not shown, but they're saying if that was 90, then 3 would have to be 92 because it corresponds with 1. So it's just saying if. I know it doesn't look 90, okay, but if it was 90, then 3 would also have to be 90. So maybe looking for a pattern will help you find the relationship. On 4, they're focusing on angle 1 and 3 have a sum of 230, excuse me, but we know 1 and 3 are congruent. So I can find each angle by just taking that 230 and divided by 2. So that means each of these angles here would end up being 115. And now that I know 115 for angle 3, I could find angle 6 because it is a linear pair. Let's put LP with angle 3. Okay, so you are going to have to do some, maybe more than one step in your problem solving. Now, when you get to this section, the thing that's important is right here, they've already told us we have parallel lines with those arrows. So Y is parallel to Z. Also, they told us that angle 10, I thought they told us, was 130, so that should be marked 130, and 3 is marked 68. So if Y and Z are the parallel, then W is one type of transversal and X is a different transversal. So you're going to have different transversal, different relationships. Meaning I can do, if I don't have color coding, I can do similar markings. So now that I know 10 is 130, I know it would be 130 here. And then that pattern is going to pretty much be the same So in the same position, 130, 130. For its adjacent angle, if it's linear pair, I could do a double arc here, which makes this 50. Double arc, double arc, double arc. So you look for a pattern if you don't want to color code. If you don't want to highlight, so if I was going to do a color coding with the highlighting, I would have 4 and 7 the same color, 2 and 5, and then I could do 1 and 6, 3 and 8. So either way would work. So you can use that pattern only with parallel lines, and then from there you can use that to find your missing angle. So I know angle 12 is also 130 because it corresponds to angle 10. And then on 17, excuse me, angle 4, I would have to get its measure by doing 180 minus 68 because 3 and 4 are a linear pair. So this would be 112. So use the given angles to find the missing angles, the remaining angles. Same here on this next little diagram. This is important. They tell you S is parallel to T. So I just went ahead and labeled that line S and add the arrows. And then we want us to find the missing angles based on the given information. So if I want to find angle 1, which is over here, I have to use that this line could turn into a transversal to make angle 1 with the parallel lines. And hopefully you see now that if I'm using that transversal, 1 and this angle 115 are alternate interior. So 1 is an alternate interior angle with 115. So that means they're congruent. Now for angle 3, which is over here, I have a different line, a different transversal. I can extend the line so I can see it if you need to. So my angle 3 here goes with the given 32, and it becomes a same side interior angle, which means it equals 180. So to find angle 3, I have to do 180 minus that 32, and I get 148. Alright, so one more diagram. They tell you right off the bat, P and Q are parallel. One is 80 and 2 is 50. So we need to mark that. Where is that? On the diagram. So I put the arrows to show parallel, and then I went ahead and put my arc and my double arcs for 80 and 50. With that given information, hopefully you see you have two different transversals. This is one transversal that makes that angle 5.
Emily McWilliams, if you're in the building, can you go back to the gym?
And then to make angle 1, we're using this transversal. Okay. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit. There we go. So they want us, I'm just going to focus on the odds. So to find angle 3, 3 and 1 are a linear pair. So that would be 110. Just 180 minus that. Angle 5 corresponds with angle 1. So it's going to be congruent. So it's going to be 80. Angle 7, hopefully you see it's vertical to angle 2. So right there it's congruent and it's 50. And then angle 9, which is over here. Angle 9, if I'm trying to use another angle as like an alternate, maybe exterior angle here. Maybe I should do that with the black curve. 9 and 6 go together, and I can get 6 using the linear pair with 2. I know they didn't ask for angle 6, or they did on 26. But since 2 and 6 are a linear pair, that means this would have to be 130. And since 9 and 6 are alternate exterior, it also would have to be 130. Alright, so that takes care of that page. Then when we get to the next page, some algebra application, solving equations, still using those same properties. So again, you're going to be given parallel lines. They're trying to let you know that because I see those arrows, the horizontal lines are parallel, which means this line would have to be the transversal. Again, only when they're parallel can you use the color pattern. So if you want to highlight those angles that are congruent to each other, you can. That might help with your setup. So on 31, they want us to focus on angle 2 and angle 7. Angle 2 and angle 7. If I look at those are alternate exterior angles. And when we have parallel lines, alternate exterior angles are congruent. Excuse me. So that lets me know that angle 2 is going to equal angle 7. So now I can just substitute the expression for each. Instead of putting angle 2, I'm going to put this 4x minus 7 here. And it's going to equal angle 7, which was the 3x plus 4. We're going to move the smallest variable whenever we have variables on both sides. So I'm going to subtract the 3x. That leaves me with x minus 7 equals 4. And then to isolate the x term, you would have to add 7. I know I kind of ran out of room here. So x is going to equal 11. Then they want us to find angle 5. Hopefully you see angle 5 has the same color. Oh no, it doesn't have the same color, sorry. So angle 5 and angle 7 are linear pair, or angle 5 and angle 2 have different colors here. So anytime we have different colors, they're going to be supplementary. So to get angle 5, I would have to do 180 minus whatever the measure of angle 7 is. So to find the measure of angle 7, we're plugging in our value for x, because we had 3x plus 4. So we're doing 3 parentheses. And inside the parentheses that represents the x is the value we got, which was 11. So we have 33 plus the 4, and we end up with 37. So we're going to take 180 minus that 37. This is now going to be 37. And that's going to give me 143. Now, down here, for angle 4 and 6, I look back up here at this diagram. 4 and 6, again, have different colors, which means they're supplementary. So my angle 4 plus my angle 6 is going to equal 180. So that helps me with my setup, because my equation should be 6x plus 12, then plus the 10x minus 8 equals 180. And then this would be simplified as 16x plus 4 equals 180. We're going to subtract the 4 from both sides to isolate the 16x term. So this really becomes 16x equals 6. And then we just need to divide it by 16. And so our x is 11, which is the first thing they're asking us to find. They also want us to find the measure of angle 1. Now look at angle 1. Angle 1 and 4 are the same color, so they're congruent. They're vertical each other. So I know whatever angle 1 is going to equal whatever angle 4 is. So all I need to do is plug it into angle 4, which was that 6x plus 12, which means I'm doing 6 parentheses plus 12. And inside, I'm plugging in that 11 for that 12. For the x, because that's what our x came out to be. So we have 66 plus 12, which comes out to be 78. And then our last section is talking about proving lines are parallel. This is the last little unit we did, or concept that we did before the review. You need to remember there are 5 ways to prove parallel. Alternate interior angles theorem, alternate exterior, corresponding angles Postulate, same side interior. That's the same thing as consecutive interior. And same side exterior. SSD is just same side exterior. That's the same thing as consecutive. What we need to remember is that these three, anything alternate and corresponding to C, are congruent. So I'm looking for congruent relationships. Same side interior, the same side exterior, these are the ones that are supplementary, which means I need to have them equal to 180. So all we're going to do on this section is determine which lines, if any, are parallel, and then state the converse. I just need to state one of the 5 ways. So if I look, they want us to focus on angle 8 and angle 20 being congruent. To identify the parallel lines, I think it's helpful to first recognize which line would be the transversal. That's the line they have in common. So N is the transversal. Then make the relationship compared to that line. So 8 and 12 are on opposite sides of the transversal, and they are in between the X and the Y. So that means X would be parallel, I said XY, I mean XZ. X has to be parallel to Z using alternate interior angle theorem. And we're using basically the converse of that. Now on C, they want us to look at angle 3 and angle 10 being a sum of 180. So if 3 and 10 comes into place, then now M is the transversal, because that's the line they have in common, which would mean that X would have to be parallel to Y using same side interior, because they equal 180, which is what I need for same side interior. So hopefully we can complete something like this, because these are kind of similar to what we did on the notes the other day and on your homework too. There is a possibility for you to have not none or does not exist. Like if I'm looking at H where it talks about 8 and 18. So if I'm focusing on angle 8 and angle 18, which is over here, they do not have a line in common. So if they do not even have a transversal, the answer is does not exist, or you can say none, because there's no transversal. So either it's showing a true relationship, the ones that are actually congruent, one of these 3, or the ones that are supplementary equal to 180, has to be either these two types, or it does not exist. It's none. Now the last part here, they're telling us that the lines are parallel. So knowing they're parallel, we're trying to figure out the value of X to make it true. So we're just solving for X like we did with the algebra problems. This angle represents the 14X minus 25, and 129 is right there. What we have as our converse, we are seeing hopefully alternate interior angles. And if we have alternate interior angles, they are congruent, which lets me set this up as 14X minus 25 is equal to 129. And we're going to solve for X by adding the 25 to both sides to isolate that 14X. We get 14X is now equal to, that is not right. Oops, sorry. 104. Is that right? Oh, plus 154. I was subtracting. That's wrong. So 154 and then divided by 14. And so X equals 11. And that's all we want here. Alright guys, so basically what I'm going to do is I will post a key that you can, on Teams, that you can check my key with and your answers work. I'm also going to post a Quizlet to help you study. So Besides this, I'm gonna also do a Quizlet, so just check that on Teams to help you prepare. Test is on Thursday. All right, thanks. Where's my recording? There it is.